How are we doing, Cardfighters? This is the VGCFC. My name's Callum. I'm the Narukami user of this. I am joined behind the scenes with Jason.
Hello.
Today I'm doing a different Narukami. Now this has taken over the Detonics as now my main deck. You will see familiar cards from the Detonics into this because I decided to incorporate. So let's get on with it, shall we? So we'll start with my grade 0 ride unit. Still the same, it's Barrett Trucker Kid. I prefer this over Sparta Kid because of the design of it. But hey, everyone each their own, isn't it? So we'll put him there.
I can't agree to zero, right?
So my grade 3s currently are 2 Eradicator Gauntlet Buster Dragons, one of them being an SVR.
Yep, explain.
Its skill mainly continuous. For every open rearguard front row, it gets 5k power plus 1 critical. That does include Axel markers. So I've had this when Jason's decided to make a budget Narukami deck. I've had this reach, what was it, 37?
37 with 5 damage.
37 with 5 crits on top. But because Axel users, depending on how many rides they do and gifts, this can just keep going up. It gets 5k power and each crit. I am hoping to get 2 more of these, but unfortunately I haven't had any chances to get any boxes yet. But they are the main rides. So that's them done with.
Don't worry guys, there will be an unboxing of Aerial Steed Liberation.
Yes, coming very soon hopefully. So continuing with my grade 3s, I've got 2 Thunder Breaks. Ideally I like to make it free just for it's just easier.
Consistency.
Yeah. So it's continuous skill. When both teams are on grade 3, it will always attack the entire front row. So if you're playing someone like who did I played Jack from Draw the Trigger. Yeah. I only just pulled my Eradicator, my first one, thanks to Jason. So I decided I got Thunder Break first. I done a ride with him first. Jack filled his board up completely, including the XL markers. And with Thunder Break, because we're both on grade 3s, it just wipes out that front row. Which means then the next turn they have to restock that front row.
Yeah, it's because Royal Paladin like to spam rear guard units because of a Platinum skill or the rear guard skills. But if you have Thunder Break, it destroys all front row if you do survive.
Then its second skill is Vanguard and Rear Guard. The continuous one is Vanguard only. So this one is it's once per turn. Counterblast 1. Now I need to remember this myself. Counterblast 1 and your opponent removes each of his or her back row units to the front row and they can move diagonally. So if they've only got the centre one, which I've done to Jason, which is constant supports with skills, I will use it to move it to the front row to get rid of, basically. So he's good, and that's why I like to get 3 of them, just so it's an early grade 3 start with, especially if you're starting second.
Yeah, he mostly has second turn.
Yeah.
Like your third turn, grade 3 first ride, or your second ride. But yeah.
I am running 3 grade 9s in this, by the way. My next 2, are the Detonics Drill Dragons. Just a bit different in there, but I need to try and keep my grade 3 options different because I'm trying not to keep just to the Eradicators because people expect that. So by mixing it all this way, it keeps people on the toes. So if you don't already know and you watch the Detonics deck, basically it's Vanguard skill only. Once per turn, you counterblast. When it attacks a Vanguard, you counterblast 1, bind a unit in the front row, unless there's nothing in the front row when it doesn't bind. It attacks, then it can restand, but you have to drop the same amount of cards as your opponent rear guards. So if they've got 3 in their back row, you have to discard 3.
So how many rear guards your opponent have because of Tonic binds, that's how much card you're dropping just to restand to get 5k power. That's what Callum tried to say.
Sometimes it's not really ideal. It can be if it's your first ride and you know your opponent's not got enough in there, you don't have to discard anything, and you can get that early push, because in theory you're doing a triple drive, in a matter of speaking, because you get your twin drive first, restand, it gets 5k power, but you minus a drive. So sometimes it's worth doing it. So that's why I'm only running 2. And plus as well, 2 is the only amount of copies I've got for it. But I'm going to keep it at 2 anyway, for the time being.
One day, it will be 4 copies.
I'm running 1 Detonic Stinger, mainly because I'd like to ideally have it to be my first grade 3 ride, because the next grade 3 ride on top, it will get 10k power, which means it's an extra push, especially if you for Eradicator, because it's that extra power, which means people will then have to keep dropping more hand for it.
If they have a PG.
Yes, if they have a PG it is, if not they have to drop more hand. I'm only running 1 copy, so it's like hard trying to grab R, but if it's there, I will go for it. Of course, it's skill when placed, Counterblast 1, bind unit, and it gets 5k power. So it's another a good high peat stick, and it's board clearing as well.
And
to a
the
degree.
cool thing is, when you ride on top of a Stinger, you can call it from
the soul. Yes. Once you ride upon it and get 10k to the Vanguard, Stinger can be called from the soul to a rearguard circle.
So consistency of grade 3 rush.
I'm also keeping my Great Composure Dragon, mainly because either for that early game push or mainly late game for my playstyle. It's late game because the longer people start with Excel markers, they gets 5k on your attacking turn for every open front row rearguard circle, including Excels. So if your opponent say got 4 Excel markers plus your 2 open rearguard circles, that's 6. And you imagine that's giving that 30k power off on its own. So I get that for a late game push because it's Vanguard and rearguard. So it means it's more cards again to drop. But the good thing about it is on your opponent's turn, for every open rearguard's front row, it gets 3k power. So it still means if they want to attack this, they have to either fill the board or push for a higher number.
Or if you have a unit can retire it, then yeah.
Yeah. But ideally, it's best to put this on, say, an Excel 2 or on your Excel markers for that extra high power as well. But it's just for that extra push for high damage. So that's why I'm only running 1 at the minute. It could eventually be more. I haven't quite decided yet. The deck's still in its early stages in its works.
Because you got a couple of wins out of me.
Yes, this has managed to pull a couple of wins. 1 against Platinum Rezel deck, which was thanks to Jack.
I think that's when you didn't upgrade it yet.
No, as this deck's current standing, it's won one game against Tsukuyomi.
You won 1 game of Tsukuyomi. You won 2 games out of Dragonic Overlord the end. One copy of the the end. Beat it against a lot because I made it 2 to pass, and you actually pulled 2 triggers.
Yeah, that was actually quite funny. My last grade 3 ride is Brat Arrow Dragon.
Well, technically not a ride.
Well, no, my last grade 3. Ideally, I don't ride this, mainly because of its skills. First, rearguard only. If it's placed on an additional rearguard circle...
So, Excel gift.
Mainly, yeah. It gets plus 5k power. Its second is, when it's attacked, for that battle, all auto skills cannot activate. So, in other words, it prevents you from using PGs, basically. And any auto skills that can interfere with the battle. So that's why I ideally keep 1, because it's not always ideal needed, but it's there as a backup.
So potentially you're stopping Dark Irregulars like grade 2 Interceptor that gets 10k power.
From the soul as well. Because some of them had the skill to guard from soul, don't they?
I think, yeah, some of them can do that, but it's mostly when people has the grade 2s that gets 10k shield. Yeah, that will be gone. So off to grade 2s.
Yes, we're now moving on to grade 2s. I currently have 2 Fiendish Sword Eradicator Choho.
Oh, Choho.
Ideally, I'm going to make this 4 because its skill is really good. Vanguard, rearguard when placed, Counterblast 1, bind a unit, and then you can choose to have the rearguard in the back row with the same column move forward. Second skill is rearguard only, once per turn. Counterblast 1. Once your Vanguard has attacked, it can restand.
Okay.
So I tend to use its restand at a late game when they're on 4 or 5 damage for the extra attack rows, to keep giving that extra pressure on to your opponent. So I've currently managed to get 2 so far. It is going to be going to 4.
Oh, thanks to me, boy.
Yeah, all thanks to Jace. Next, I have one Hammer Knuckle Dragon. Mainly because sometimes when I play Jason, depending on what deck he uses, he doesn't like to play nice and he makes it say, oh yeah, you have to do this, 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 and this.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
But Hammer Knuckle skill, Cannon Blast 2, Vanguard and Rearguard. Choose a unit to bind. If the unit was bound, it gets plus 5k power. And because it's an axe skill, you can just do it every turn.
It's basically he can have this as a rear guard, making it to 14. Or if it's on Excel, it becomes 17.
19.
On
XL2s.
Yeah, XL2 is a 5k.
Yeah.
So 14
add 5 makes 19.
Oh, maths. But either way, if he has that Vanguard, if someone pushed them into 2 damage, he can just ride that and get it into 4, big number.
Which is normally ideal because Jason uses Force Clans, which means they're all 10k.
I'm
grade
using
2s.
Force 1, people. I'm not using Force 2.
So I use that mainly to try, if I get him in my hand, he's my only grade 2 with able to bind for higher damage, so I know I can pass without having to get a trigger to pass. My other grade 2s are Dragon Knight Zubair. Now, his skills, one of his skills is I'm not really keen on is when placed, bind one of your rear guards. So the way I work this out is
Call him first and then call another unit, so you technically don't bind anything.
yeah, but its auto skill is during your turn it gets plus 10k power, so it becomes a 19k beat stick.
Is rear guard circle ability?
Rear
right?
guard only for both. So like Jason said with the rear guard when placed, the other option is I don't call anything else after this as well, which I've done a couple of times. But if I can't make it through with my Vanguard, then I know Zubair will go through automatically because it's 19. So that's why I'm only running 2, because I'm not really keen on its first skill, but I'm only interested for the power output on the unit. I've also got one Recklessness Dragon, just for the bind again, Vanguard and Rearguard. We all know if we've all used in Narukami. Child X, yes. Also its skill on a Rearguard only. If it's attacking the Vanguard, if there's 1 or less open rearguard slots, it gets plus 3k power, making it a 12k, matching a grade 3 power output. So he's alright for the push sometimes, but he's only in just to cover until I can get some more grade 2s, being Zoitan, which is now the next one I'm talking about. So
Did I pull you those 2 copies?
I pulled one.
Oh, I pulled you one.
And you pulled one out the pizza box for the sneak preview. So Zoitan's skill is actually pretty good, and Jason's confirmed something on me, which I'm going to go into detail in a couple of minutes in a time. But it's starting off with skill when an opponent's unit was bound this turn. Every Zoitan and Eradicator Gauntlet Buster Dragon gets plus 5k power, and it can stack as well.
All thanks to Cardfight Vanguard EX, because I watch someone play this deck and Zoitan ability stacks. So just say if your opponent has 2 rear guards front row and you have 2 Zoitans and 1 Gauntlet Buster Dragon, you use Gauntlet Buster Dragon's skill to Counterblast this card 1.
Yes, discard a card and it retires the entire front row.
Retires all front row, and then Zoitan's ability activates
twice
because it's
per
2
card.
So it's 2 front rows just got retired, so it gets 5k and then another 5k. So basically again 20k power off of 2 Zoitans.
Yeah, its second skill is once the Vanguard is attacked and there's no and the open front row on your opponent's side is clear, move these into the soul.
You don't have to activate it. It's your personal choice.
Well, it's an auto skill, so they have to.
No, you can deny it. You can do that in Cardfight Vanguard. You could decide to use it or not use it.
Well, I tend to do it because not only does it build your soul up, but it's more draw power because place them into the soul and you get to draw a freebie card.
I remember that card. I used it and gave me a top deck the heal trigger.
Where I got lucky and I top decked my SVR. Carrying on, my grade 2s, I'm running 3 Dragonic Death Scythes. So I'm running these in.
I told him to do it.
Yes, Jason did tell me to do it. Its skill is quite simple. It's when placed, Soul Blast 2. bind a unit and it gets plus 5k power. No, 3k power.
3k.
If there is no unit in the opponent's column in the same line as this, it gets plus 5k on attack, which is a continuous skill. So even if it's one play skill on its next turn, if there's nothing in the same column, it will still get that 5k power, still making it a 14k continuous beat stick. That's why I'm running 3 for late game, just trying to...
Or early game aggro rush.
Yes, there is that as well, but I normally want for trying to drag it out a little sometimes. It depends how my hand is, really.
That's where I go. That's where I go. Maximum power.
So we're now moving on to my grade 1s. I am running 4 Dragon Dancer Rai-Rais.
He finally got the 4 copies.
Yes, thanks to every box in the sneak preview we got.
I mean, we only went for like pizza box counts as 2.
Yeah, pizza box in theory is 2 and a bit.
2 box.
39 packs, and I quite lucky.
And then we went for 2 more boxes, so technically 4 boxes where we got Rai-Rais.
So Rai-Rais skill is really good. It's Vanguard or Rearguard. When it attacks, hits a Vanguard. When it attack hits or boost hits a Vanguard, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, search to see for a Thunderbreak Dragon. If you do, reveal the Thunderbreak to your opponent. Rai then gets moved into the Sol if it's on Rearguard, and then you shuffle your deck, basically.
Yep.
So you can use this if you've rode Rai straight off the bat, grade 1, it will still work, but you have to be aware it has to be hit. Where Jason's done it before, he makes it like no pass, just so I can't even just do it, because Jason is a douche.
I mean, to be honest, it will be easy to predict if you try to go for Thunderbreak or trying to get Buster Nut.
But in my case, I have a habit of forgetting Rai-Rai's skill majority of the time.
Yeah.
Near enough all the time.
He always forgets when I say no guard.
Yeah, I think it's just bad habit because I know he gets denial on me.
No, it's the fact that I can't help my opponent most of the time. You can't give out, pointers. They have to remember off by heart.
So now, I've got Desert Gunner Galban. Now, Jason talked me into this one. So, it's Rearguard skill. At the end of the battle your Vanguard attacked, choose one of your units. Until the end of the turn, it gets 3k power, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels for the rest of the turn against that one chosen unit. So, it does count the Vanguard. It doesn't say Rearguard. So, you can use it against your Vanguard. And it does, if Jason can remind me, it does work on the Vanguard if it restands.
Yes, if your Vanguard restands, if you use Tetronic Drill and use its skill to restand again, the skill activates again because it says Vanguard attacks. So it repeats itself.
So
only twice. Only twice.
So this has been a big asset because I've been made to use like some of my grade 2, grade 3s for that extra push, and Jason's had to drop extra hand for it because I just give it all to this one unit. So in theory, I have 2 units in this deck, which basically doesn't allow you to use PGs, being this and Brat Arrow Dragon.
Well, you were thinking Brat Arrow, but I told you to use that card because I watch Cardfight Vanguard EX games, and I see people using Narukami and they use at least 3 or 4 copies of that guy. Early rush and late game rush as well.
Yeah, I'm currently running 3 counter charges, which is the Lightning of Helena. If you've watched my Detonics deck, you'll know what the skill is, but for those who haven't, I'll explain it. Once per turn, when an opponent's unit was bound this turn, if you have no face-up cards in the damage zone, Soul Blast 1 and you counter charge 1. So if you've got, if you're going to go for like say Eradicator skill and that, this is ideally the best time to have Helena out. But you must make sure Helena is out before you use the skill. Because otherwise it will not count. And then finally, I'm using Jin of 100. What's it? Oh, Jin of 100 Thunderclaps. Grade 1. The only reason I put this in is because of its skill. If my opponent, during my turn, if my opponent is on 4 damage, it gets plus 10k power, making it a
Is it a
17k
rear guard
booster.
circle?
It's
Or...
rear guard only, continuous skill. So this is always a brilliant booster. So if it's coming to the end of the game and your opponent's on 4 damage during your turn, this gets plus 10k power, making it a 17k booster. Or attacker, yes. But I tend to use them more for high boosters, for Eradicators mainly, because I need to try and push that higher number for Eradicator to get through until they say 1 to pass, and then you pull a critical trigger.
Not with that guy has the Sentinel Denial, making into 20.
That is true. That is very true. So that's my grade 1s, 2s and 3s. Now on to my grade 0s.
So triggers.
Mainly my triggers, yeah. I'm running 3 front triggers. Mainly because, and I've explained this to Jason, but he just says, fuck it, why? Excuse my French. Mainly because Eradicator skill gives it the criticals itself, so I don't want it to try and give it too much crit power. I gotta try and...
criticals, boy!
So I've decided to try and give it more power on its own by just having 3 front triggers. I was originally going to go 4, but then I thought, I don't know. So I've gone with 3 at the minute, and it seems to be working perfectly for me. So I'm going to stay as is with it, but I'm trying to do it just so it can get Eradicated to push through.
How many times do I always see your front trigger? Once?
In a blue moon.
Still have that miracle bullshit shield.
Yeah. I'm running 5 crit triggers. So, no matter what I got, I've always got a good chance of playing crits. Self-explanatory, really.
Maybe,
yes. It's very rare for me to pull double crits. 4 PG draws. I took these out of my Detonics deck because...
He finally got them!
Yes, thanks to David from Draw the Trigger for having the last copy which I brought off him at the Aerial Sea of Liberation sneak preview. And Reese for pulling me the last copy in the Miyagi box.
And I pulled you 2.
Yes, you did, when I first brought the Miyagis. But I've taken these out of the Detonics because the Eradicators is now my main used. So I'd rather use these the most than having the grade 1 PGs. So that's why I've gone with them in this deck. But if I ever make the Detonics deck again, I will invest in some more PG draws. And having to keep changing them over continuously. And finally, standard 4 heals.
4 heals, of course. If you don't run heals, you weren't going to last the game.
You have to run heals, you're an idiot if not. Funnily enough, when I done the sneak preview for this, I got 1 heal out of all the packs, and I was in the tournament, and I somehow managed to make it through against David continuously with that 1 heal. God knows how.
At least you're not the one that has 3 draw triggers.
I had 3 crits, 2 fronts, and a heal in that tournament, Jason. How the heck I didn't
I have 3 draw triggers. I was decking out quicker than everyone.
I didn't even have a single draw trigger. I'm proud. So that's mainly it for this. It's still a work in progress. I am still missing a couple of cards, but I am hoping to buy some more Aerial Steed Liberations quite soon and get this completed. Then my next project is going to be... I haven't decided between Pale Moon or Shadow Paladin yet.
I'm not going into Phantasmal Steed because the only reason is I'm not is the fact that I don't use my Shadow Paladin deck, but it does need a secondary grade 3 finisher, but I'm not that fussed, so I might skip it. Sorry to any... I'm not being offensive to any Shadow Paladin, but I don't play my Shadow Paladin anymore.
So that's it for this video. We're going to do a couple more uploads this week, more than normal, because me and Jason are actually away from home. We're actually on our holiday down in Wales. So we figured we'd do this, but we might bring a couple more in. One of them, we're thinking about doing just a news chat about some of the latest booster sets are coming out and what we plan on working on. So we'll have one of them come out with this in the same week. So keep an eye on our channel and our Instagram, and we'll keep you posted.
We are bringing one of our other members in because he hasn't been in for a while.
Next on the Sunday coming up, we're actually off to Tabletop Tyrant in Leicester. Keep an eye out for us. If you want to see us there, give us a bell. We're actually inviting Reese, who's our last member. He's overdue to do us a match and a deck profile on his Overlord The End.
or his
Or he's going to soon to be
Mordred
Mordred deck.
Phantom, because he did order the cards.
Yes, so
that
keep
he
an eye
needs.
out for that. And I hear Jason will be doing his Messiah deck maybe in the next week or so on a deck profile.
When I get the PG draws.
That is the only thing he's missing, the PG draws. So we hope you like it, enjoy it. Leave a comment down below of what you think, what he's working on, what you'd like to see next. Keep an eye out on our Instagram as well, which is VG underscore
Cardfight Vanguard VGCFC Club.
Yeah.
It will be there. So yeah.
We hope you enjoy, and we see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.